Hey, what's up, everybody? It's BallietBran. So today we've got the weekly live stream. And since the last time that I live streamed, there's a lot of cool information going on. Major updates from one of the Pulse Chain core developers that I had downloaded from actually someone else's video. So they get the credit, but then converted that into 1080p, uploaded it. So major kind of updates on Pulse Chain, when we think it might launch. They were saying that they wanted it to launch yesterday, sooner than later, and kind of what the minimum viable product would be for such a thing. Let me say what's up to the chat real quick here. I got a little bit of a different setup today where we got the external monitor going as well. So hopefully it'll be easier when I'm reading. So MT Coiner, Crypto King, Piston Broke, J Everything, Identity Block. Let's see. Someone from the UK, fellow Hexicans. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I know Richard's got the big meetup on December 2nd, Hex's second birthday. That'll be really cool. Probably some major stuff going on, I would think. What's up, everyone around the world? Hexicans and Pulsicans. We got Hex Ninja Turtle. Love that name. Piston Broke. That's one hell of a shirt. Yeah, it was on CryptoWares, wearz.net. DV. Marca Espinoza. Hey, nice to see you, man. Hex Ninja Turtle. What's up, Bran? What's up, Hexicanos? Ready for some more fire? Yeah. I mean, got fuego all day. So let's get into it. We'll kind of talk a little bit about some Hex stuff, right? Richard's got kind of a photo of all of the different dips and how there's generally correlation to opportunity versus when it's actually dipping. And then once again, I want to go over some of the highlights of that actual almost hour-long clip of the Pulse Chain core developer and what that could mean, because Pulse Chain is going to be, I think, a lot bigger than Hex, and I think it's going to be quite the opportunity. All right, so let's do the intro and we'll get right into it.
Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like, be sure to share, be sure to comment. Yeah. Say hey. Say hey. Say hey. Say hey. Say hey. Motherfucking jackpot. We still jackpot, bitch!
Thank you, Richard, for creating and founding the most amazing and disruptive financial technology cryptocurrency ever. Thank you, sir. And nice streams, Mr. BallietBran.
Cool. So we're back. How's everyone doing? Smash some likes. Yeah, we got a lot of people. Poland here. That's really cool. Crypto Heartbeat. How's it going, man? Yeah, so he actually had a stream yesterday. It was really pretty good. And him and I are going to be doing a video sometime soon on his channel. So everyone stay tuned for that. What's good, boss? Trade bra. Let's go, Bran. What's up? Cool. Yeah, so we got everyone in here. Let's see what some of the sentiment was from Richard most recently. Oh yeah, Clint Corey. Nice to see you. Okay, so this is just on Twitter. Richard kind of most recently talking about 19 hours ago, where on this chart has a 67% dip, not been a wonderful opportunity. And when we pull it up here, this is just the Uniswap version 1, as we've looked at before. But this is just the opportunity, and it goes to show you, I think this is measuring from the January 5th absolute low, but it's just showing you that Hex has had multiple ups and downs, just like a roller coaster goes. And Every time that it has been a major dip or consolidation, stand tall. Yep. Gotta stand a little bit taller. Anytime that it's had some major consolidation, it's been a very good opportunity for those that know what that means. How am I doing? I'm doing great. No complaints. Beautiful day. Surprisingly, it's not raining here. So yeah, once again, it's all about kind of your frame and your perception, right? Because some people see a 66, 67% dip as, the end of the world. And I'll be honest, this might be a lot of people's first dip that they've ever experienced, especially in Hex. And it kind of just comes with the territory of such a volatile cryptocurrency, and of a cryptocurrency that's also gone up 10,000x in 2 years. You can have a lot of, price movements and spikes and things like this. This is why being a staker, like 93% of my bag is completely staked for like over 6 years. And the actual opportunity itself is really in the actual yield that you're earning. The price fluctuations from here and there, that'll always happen. But once again, we see over time, it tends to make newer all-time highs. So that's kind of just something to get right into. I got the fever for some flavor of Pulse Chain. Yeah, that's definitely something we're going to jump right into. There's actually another Hexakin that took the clip that I had downloaded, and they had kind of made some points, some kind of like high-level view that were pretty interesting. So they reconfirm the testnet version 2 should be live in the next week or two. It's talking about for the testnet version 2, they're trying to get the math down for how the pulse itself will be calculated and how many pulse people should be getting based on the actual points themselves. We've got, once again, that the dev was hoping that it was going to be done yesterday. The actual like minimum viable product might or might not include a bridge, depending on how long that could set them back, and just a whole bunch of other things that we'll cover in just a couple of minutes here. Rusty VR says, I hope to see Richard Hart Sailor Dance in person in London on December 2nd, or I'll be disappointed. Yeah, I'm sure, he's always trying to please the crowd. I'm sure he would give a little dance for sure. I love the dance. Oscar Jensen says, I think it's an opportunity of a lifetime, sacrificing and being in early in Pulse. Looking from the future's point of view, you just had to be there. It's so true. I mean, how many FOMO'd on day one of the adoption amplifier for Hex, the 351-day launch phase? How many people FOMO'd, and still all this time later, even with its most recent dump, still are just absolutely killing it? The answer is a lot of people. Subtarn Weeg. Yeah, Crypto Heartbeat. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to doing a video with him. I was actually just doing a stream, or not a stream, but a video with Matt from Hexray Vision. And, we were kind of talking about Crypto Heartbeat and how he really appeals to like many different audiences, right? He knows how to talk to people that are like my parents' age. And then same thing with the younger folks as well. Just kind of has a really good balance on his channel of information for everyone. Hey, what's up, Hexo? The man, the myth, the legend. We'll make sure that you're modded if you are not already. But yeah, once again, some really cool Pulse Chain information. And tell you what, I think that we could really see it before the end of the year. I think we could definitely see that being launched. Let's get back here. That is a Hexy chart. It totally is. It's relative too, right? Hexhibit says, it's okay to be nervous about a dip, but don't let emotions affect your trading habits. Exactly. And that's exactly why a lot of people never experienced that. Now it's like 6.8 million X rise from a penny with Bitcoin, because you can't actually lock it, right? It's not something that you can time lock it, but you're not being incentivized to do so. So the people that do with Hex, you're kind of saving yourself from the emotional roller coaster and being rewarded while doing so. Moonbag is chocolate too. Very nice. Let's see. Wally says, with a shirt like that, you sure stand out. Really cool. Yeah, the other one's nice too, but I cook. That thing's got like very little room to breathe. So I cook like that. Super hot in that jacket. So I only wear that when it's pretty much outside. Good morning from Australia, Pulse Pumper. Nice to see you, man. Yeah, Hexo. And Hexo had a couple of streams recently. And I tell you what a nice treat that is. And those were. So shout out to him. He's always got like a smile going on and a good upbeat personality. So look forward to those streams. Let's see. My top favorite Hexican on live, Hex Roman. I do feel bad for those that get worried about price. They still don't understand what Hex is. Well, it's true. There's a lot of expectations that you should kind of tell someone if you are onboarding them that, it's cool that we've done 10,000x in under 2 years, and the price tends to do very well over time. But people do need to, if you're going to onboard someone, it behooves you to tell them about the volatility and that it's not always going up. When we go back to the chart here, kind of just let them know that, hey, this is a more longer term investment. You wouldn't be staring at your 401k every single day and getting emotional over the fluctuations. Why should you with a high interest savings account type of deal, even though it's yield, not interest? Audio gone. I don't think that's true. Everyone else can hear me, so don't think that is true. All right, let's say what's up to everyone else. Red Squirrel, love the hair brand, smooth killer, totally. Okay, yeah. So let's get back into a little bit of it before we go on to the high level pulse information. So we got a few tabs pulled up already. So Yeon Diggity, and I'll give that guy a follow here. But he says the average Hex buyer, I don't believe, will pay $150 in gas to make a swap or a purchase. Ethereum gas is holding us back big time, and then does the anger face. Totally agree, man. Pulse chain, save us all. And like I said, hope that'll be here by the end of the year is what I'm kind of hoping. And I think that that's very realistic. All right, we got another one right here. There's always something going on. Let me remove the comment. Always something going on in Hex or in Pulse, and so it's really cool to see. Even when I don't go on Twitter as much, there's a whole bunch of things to follow up on. So Danny with a lot of Fujin says want to make impressions in the real world on the daily. Order a set of car magnets and make a difference. Effective and inexpensive marketing, it matters. And then they've got the Hex magnet there. So that's really cool. I wear kind of like the Pulse and Hex merch outside, so that kind of does a good job advertising and marketing as well. Manny says, Pulse chain, save us, please. I totally agree. And I don't care if you can afford the fees. I don't care if you've been here since the beginning. We're going to look at Etherscan. C.io/gas tracker. But I don't care if you've been here since the beginning. A lot of us had those 1 penny, 2 penny, 3 penny fees for on stakes, transferring things like this. And now we can take a look. Second here, let me paste this in the URL. So now for the average, this is just disgusting, guys and gals, absolutely. But now for the average transfer, the fee is $44.14. Like that's not realistic. People are being priced out. And I remember the first time we saw this and it was like, oh my gosh, like this is happening really quick. And then the next time it happened, Richard's like, okay, we need to do something about this. Otherwise, Hexicans are literally going to be paying so much in fees that it doesn't even make sense to end your stake, or that it cuts into your stake, say by 50%, 30%. And then you've got other things, taxes and all of this stuff that cuts into your bottom line as well. So the actual average for a Uniswap swap, $135. And then to remove liquidity is there as well. And it used to be kind of like a thing that we would talk about, like, oh, if the gas fees are high, just wait for the weekend and things like this. And now it just turns out that I don't think that's very applicable. It seems that it's just high 24/7. Okay, so now that that's there, we'll get into the rest of the Pulse information here in just a second. Let's see what the chat is saying. Ash is saying, I have a terrible situation. I bailed someone out of a failed gas fee of $300 yesterday, ate the cost for them. One of my onboards, let's see, but I did get them to stake for 2 years. It's true. I'm, I don't like to just pay for people in that way, but for some of my onboards that I gave Hex to and stakes to for the MetaMask, not the MetaMask, but the Uniswap airdrop, I ended up having to choosing to pay a lot of their fees too. And that's no fun because otherwise they just wouldn't be able to, afford anything or receive anything. Jack says, what is the difference between the Pulse Feg you can buy? Yeah, let's not talk about that. Let's kind of get that off the screen. Actually, I don't want to be promoting something that I've got no idea of. So I'm just going to have to delete that, Jack. Let's just delete that. Great work, Brand. Gratitude. What's up, FinBear? Wally says, buy now, get 2 for the price of 1. Yeah, it's true. I did a video also yesterday on what the snapshot actually means, because when I've mentioned that, it's always been of the block height. So everything in that block and before it, gets copied over, and that's what the system state will be. Hex Roman says, aloha from Maui. Cool. So, okay. Check this out. So Hexologist will only be doing a rate. Oh, okay. Never mind. I should start reading these before I get into it. Do you know if Staker version 2 is going to release soon? I don't. I know that they had talked about it for the longest time, and now it's kind of updated on their website, at least what they're going to do, what they plan to do. So that's a good question. I'm hoping soon, right? If I think that Pulse Chain could be launching by the end of the year and before 2022, then why not Staker version 2? I know, same thing with them, right? A lot of the stuff is going to be more utilized once the actual fees go down. Ash says, the great thing out of this situation, once we get Pulse, is we won't be held hostage to the Ethereum network ever again. Yeah, I mean, personally, I'm not going to be dumping one side or the other. I'm just going to be keeping both eHex and then Hex, and then just supplying the liquidity for the Pulse swap thing. But I mean, I agree. It's absolutely disgusting. And Max that I was talking to today from Hexray Vision, I was saying that once the fork happens, I think that, both are still going to obviously be around and kind of fluctuate in value, maybe to parity in the future. But there's just going to be different staking behavior in the eHex than, say, the Hex on Pulse Chain, right? You're going to be able to see a lot longer stakes, most likely, on Ethereum Hex, just because the fees are so ridiculous that, once again, to even justify it, you kind of need to have enough time. It says, yo, you turned off the super chat. So YouTube actually, we're verifying all the information, and they had sent me a PIN code in the mail, and I didn't get that piece of mail, so they turned it off. I'll probably resubmit it, but at least for now, it's turned off and letting everyone not get bombarded with ads. Doesn't Flare Network do the same as Pulse? I don't know much about Flare. I'm not going to speak about it. New shells and shrimps can avoid swap fees if they buy on HitBTC. Yeah, if you do that kind of stuff, you're going to be able to avoid those fees, right? Because it's on an exchange. But then you're still going to pay a ETH fee if you do take it into your own possession, which is recommended in crypto, that you hold your own keys, the not your keys, not your crypto thing. So just because it is cheaper and more convenient, you still can do that and maybe get away with a little bit less, but who knows what the actual slippage could be there. And if you do, I would recommend you take possession as soon as possible. The Sapper says, I look forward to doing nothing. That is the tactic that Hex has shown me to be the smartest. Exactly. I totally agree. Okay, so let's get back into the information. And maybe I'll share the screen on the actual clip that was posted. 1 second here. Because it's an hour-long clip, and it's very very informative. 1 second here. I'm going to share with everyone here. Let's share the screen. So this is a synopsis of the clip. So this was done by Steve Hitson, and it's an under 5-minute synopsis of kind of what the clip is talking about. And once again, I suggest everyone check this out. Check out the main clip as well. I guess you can click it there, or you can just go to the channel, which it's there as well. But let me get into kind of some of those high-level points that are exciting and just kind of some new information that I personally didn't know about before. Okay, cool. So I got it pulled up on here for the second screen. So, okay, so it says, we're confident enough to release testnet version 2, and we don't want to have to release a version 3. And then someone was asking, I think it was Mandalorian, talking about that, if the minimum viable product doesn't include the bridge, why would that be? And it's because, initially they thought the bridge could work with the atomic, cross-chain swaps where it doesn't require an admin key. And now they're, looking into the ultimate solution for the bridge and what's going to be the most secure. But once again, it doesn't have to be, a priority for the chain to actually launch. So they were saying like November, December was a possibility when someone had asked that. The main developer, it's like at and then BRETEP, like BRETEP. But he says he's so excited that he's having trouble sleeping, and he's also using so Dan Emmons, he had asked like, okay, what about the fork of Uniswap, and is there going to be a front end integration so people can kind of swap value, things like that on Pulse? And he had said that he is using a front end of a Uniswap front end to test the actual test net, and that's working super good. So that's really cool that other developers are, contributing. So let's see, the more decentralized, the better for the ecosystem they were talking about. So this is actually really incredible. So Ethereum had about 200 nodes, which is like a download of the whole blockchain itself, and kind of keeps up to date with the current blockchain. But they had about 200 nodes 2 years in to Ethereum. And right now we're seeing 395 confirmed sync nodes. Once again, it took Ethereum for 200, it took them about 2 years. And while I'm actually doing this, I realized that I can actually share the screen with you guys too. Let me do that as I kind of read some of these bullet points, so you're not just staring at me. We can kind of go along as Steve breaks it down here. So give me a second. That's going to be loading in the other page there as well. Marco says, I really enjoyed the video from Ruth. Yeah, I mean, that was just some information that Ruth was talking about. 1 second. This might take just a second for it to load. I've got a lot of tabs pulled up. But yeah, so as far as that Pulse swap goes, yeah, that was some, information that, Ruth and I were talking about, and kind of a synopsis of their audio clip that someone else got as well. You can listen to their full audio clip and some of their points they had wanted to clarify they had sent to me. Monica, how's it going? Nice, dude. And 218 people. Shout out everyone. We got a lot of people here. Okay, so Pulse chain launch update. All right, so it's this one right here. Okay, great. So yeah, now you guys can see what I'm reading. Once again, this is just a synopsis of the clip, and Steve did a very good job of doing that. Okay, so let's get back into it. So yeah, 395 confirmed sync nodes. Once again, took years, and this is not even with Pulse chain mainnet being launched. This is all just testnet. So 395. And what they mentioned as well is that, okay, cool. So what they had mentioned as well is like some of the actual validators right now, I believe, are running on like an Amazon web server, and you can actually disconnect those servers or not have those servers be involved. And they said somehow like traverse with these 395 nodes, they could kind of like, those nodes, I guess, would kind of act as the actual, not validators, but kind of, the decentralization of the blockchain itself. Somehow those main AWS servers could be like turned off. And with these 395, they could still keep things going. which I thought was kind of interesting. Once again, I don't know all of the details with that, but that is one thing that they were mentioning. So there's well over 300 or 400 developers outside of the main core team working on Pulse Chain. So once again, he had talked about a bridge that was actually being built and being worked on, which is awesome. Let's see, where did I get the hoodie? CryptoWares, wearz.net. But just keep in mind, it takes like 4 weeks to ship. So keep that in mind. Let's see, oracles likely already exist. So I know for the liquid loans. Oh yeah, sounds good, Finbear. Yeah, cheers to you, bro. So I know for the liquid loans thing that they were talking about that they would need oracles for some of the price feeds and things like that. It sounds like things like Chainlink and some other oracles might already be, possibly working for Pulse Chain and ready for kind of mainnet once that comes out. That'll be very cool because once again, you need oracles for just certain things, with Ethereum and networks like that. People outside of the main team are finding errors, misspellings on Pulse Chain code. It says, okay, yeah, this is what I was talking about. So built-in support, auto discover. So if the mastered node in Amazon goes down, Pulse Chain will stay alive without issues. So once again, that's pretty cool. And then he doesn't see any major hurdles for the MVP. And then towards the front of the video, there was, testnet version 2 confirmed. Once again, that'll be the second phase, and sounds like they're going to be pushing in some more code and some other things that they want to make sure is working correctly. The time frame, once again, the Uniswap fork, that's really amazing that the actual front end is working really well. And that's pretty much that part that I'd want to cover currently. Let's see what else. Oh, cool. Yeah, nice, dude. I didn't know you could get a coupon code, so be curious to see what kind of discount people get. That's awesome. Hell yeah, Bran. Guys, let's see, how can I know how many Pulse I can get on my wallet? Hamza, that's a really good question. I know they're still kind of working on the math, especially since some people are still sacrificing. They're kind of trying to work out the final kinks and like details on the balances there. I'm not too sure. I know you used to be able to go to pulselead.xyz, and that kind of had a rough synopsis on how many points you might be getting based off of your sacrifice. So it kind of went off of a like not a time weighted average, but kind of like the time that you had sacrificed and then the bonding curve, things like this. So yeah, that was some information that you should go back and watch the full clip from, just because it's like an hour long, and obviously a couple minute review isn't going to cover everything, but definitely go back and check that out, because the Pulse Chain, it doesn't seem like it's going to be months longer for release. It sounds like it's going to probably be happening sooner than later, and it makes sense. Just launch the chain if you know that you're ready, and then let the other stuff be developed and built as it goes. But at least let everyone know that, hey, now we're out of testnet, this thing is live, and this is ready to be built on. So D-Big says, gas fees could be held low or even stable if high amount of liquidity with such high. Okay, cool. So he's responding there. And let me zoom in on the screens here. Okay, so to get your bags accumulated with more Hex and spread the wallets, also for the smaller hands, at this price, I'll for sure be accumulating. How about you guys? Yeah, I mean, this is an absolutely great price to be accumulating. And any time that I've got some stakes coming out, especially anymore, it's like those are going back out into the future for more shares, more money printers doing their job. A shout out to Finbear. See, M Green says all the nodes and blocks just on the test net. Very exciting. Yeah, and it's churning how it should. So that was another question Mandalorian had asked. He had said, hey, the Block Scout Explorer was not showing 3-second blocks consistently, and he was confirming that was kind of like an error that had been resolved for like a private testnet that they were working on. What's up, my friend? How's it going, Heximus Decimus Meridius? pull chain becomes as successful as we would all like, we'll end up with high gas fees too. Guess we won't care as billionaires. Well, that's exactly right, because you're literally getting into something at the ground floor. And I think the actual like ground floor of Ethereum might have been like 3 cents, something like that. And so just think about how long it took for Ethereum, about 7 years, 8 years, something like that, to get to the prices it's at today. And kind of just what that means. Like over time, even though we're going to start off with, you can have more capacity in the blocks and we've got a faster version of Ethereum, it doesn't mean that, the blocks won't eventually fill up. But that's going to take a lot longer than it would for Ethereum with the amount of space that we have. Don't panic. How's it going? Love you, Balliet. Love you guys too. Monica, cool. CP. Yeah, 395. That's really cool. Jonas says, when moon? Well, that's a good question, right? The moon itself is obviously very relative. I mean, here's what I will say is even when the Pulse chain launch, like the main announcement of the launch was active, I think we were at around 8 pennies then, and right now we're let's see what the price is. We'll check the price in just a second here. Right now we're at like 19 cents, something like that, on version 1. Let's see what version 2. So 18.2 cents on version 2. So yeah, definitely consolidating pretty nice. And who knows? I mean, we might go a little bit lower and have an absolute capitulation before we form a bottom. I mean, the price could really do anything before we do find that stable ground and go back up. How many nodes are on the testnet? Yeah, so it's like over 400. Yeah, Ruth is a legend. Yeah, Ruth is definitely great. I'd only heard her maybe one other time before, and the way that she explained the things and the messages with me was quite in depth. And once again, just another cool opportunity. What's up, Inviting Freedom? Love you guys too. Oh, I'm wondering who the second person is. Didn't know someone else was streaming. And the thing is at the end of the day, hey, if someone else is streaming, cool. Go to one or the other, and it's not like everyone has to watch it at the same time. Stake, Hex, and chill. Totally. Yeah, let's see. Let's see here. Do I take Omega 369? I do. I don't know if it is Omega, that's the brand, but I actually got some in the other shelf there. It was just on Amazon. It was like a big bottle, and I just typed in 369. Not too sure if it's the exact Omega one though. Craig Wadding says, thanks for all you do, my dude. You put in a lot of time making videos, and speaking for myself, it's appreciated. Awesome, man. You're definitely welcome. Appreciate all of you guys watching. I mean, 216 people watching. Once again, as far as the actual Pulse chain stuff goes and why I'm excited, it's going to be a lot bigger than Hex in my opinion. And Hex is just one of the smart contracts that's on Pulse chain. And just as it is with Ethereum, then you start to see all of the system state that's going to get copied over. And it's like, man, there's going to be a lot of utility and usage for this network just to start off with. And so we see the fees that we covered, right? $130 something for a swap and $44 for a send. And Pulse chain's immediately going to have, some sort of value when that moment is created for people to start swapping and exchanging value. So that'll be very cool. I will have my Hex shield soon. It's been shipped. The Legion of Boom is growing. Yeah, I've got mine too. It's at my main house, so I'm still setting up the studio, like the stand-up desk, and then I've got two 32-inch monitors that I need to mount to the desk itself, but still working on that. That's why we didn't do a Nights of Crypto on Wednesday. A lot of people had some other stuff going on, but we might actually be doing one tonight. There's so much replanning and rescheduling, but it looks like tonight Crypto Coffee should be hosting, I believe at 7 o'clock. Was the last update that I got, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard. So hoping that works out. Yeah, once again, it's not completely calculated. Proud to be a Hexagon. Yeah, me too. Let's see here. Let's go, Brandon. Yep. In both ways. I know what you mean. Retirement looks good on you, Brody. Awesome. Thank you. Earn money in Pulse and buy Hex. Yeah, that'll be awesome. That'll be super cool. How many X for Pulse chain launch? I mean, that's a good question. Here's what I think is Hex did a 10,000X in under 2 years. And I think Pulse chain could do that very easily as well. You look at some of the fundamentals. And the other thing that a lot of people aren't talking about, though, is, people see what the hexagons have become. And when I say that, I mean by long-term holding, by having, the ultimate diamond hands. And when you think of a group of people that owns a majority of the supply in Pulse chain, it really is the hexagons. I mean, obviously the origin address, similar to Big Payday, has about like 95% of the supply itself. So with the way that I even think about that supply, I just completely remove that in my head, that supply doesn't even exist. And just like with Hex, maybe 4%, maybe 5% at most of the total supply is actually being traded and kind of held within, a majority of the parties. But you look at everyone that's sacrificed outside of the hexagons and the Hex community, and it really is the minority. And so once again, you've got people that have already had a lot of gains. And for me, like I said this with Crypto 7, but I mean, I'm in an opportunity where I'll never have to sell Pulse. And what does that mean for the price? And especially when you look at how much is sacrificed, you've got a lot of these big whales that are already, millionaires and retired. And now their bag of Pulse is just going to be ever growing. Crypto Heartbeat, he's got this pretty cool challenge. I think it's called like the Pulse Promise. I'll try and pull it up in just a second here. Let's see. He's got a Telegram channel. Let's see. We'll take a look at it in just a second. But he's got a Telegram channel that he's making specifically for this, for this goal. Yeah, it's like the Pulse Promise to do good. Let me share this, everyone, so everyone can kind of see, because I actually just joined it the other day real quick here. Let's share the screen real quick. So yeah, once again, Crypto Heartbeat, absolutely a great guy. And I love the timing of the market, so you've got the Pulse Gains lady that's been doing videos, absolutely amazing work. And then same thing with Crypto Heartbeat, and both of them, their channels have just been, growing immensely and showing that, hey, there is a market for this. And it's really cool to see that. But so once again, this is his Pulse Promise to do good. I think it's like 1 million Pulse. So if you have $100 sacrificed from day one of sacrifice phase, you're getting 10,000 points per dollar times 100, so that's like 1 million, I believe. But his Twitter channel, or sorry, not his Twitter, but his Telegram is right here, the Compassion Cartel. And I don't think it's actually going to open up for me, but there's 242 members, and it's kind of just like a pledge type of deal to yourself. I don't think it's actually sending it to anyone, but it's like a pledge to yourself that, hey, to kind of have the bigger picture and help and give back once you have that abundance and things like this. Crypto Heartbeat says, thanks for the shout out. Yeah, no, seriously. Once again. And yesterday he did a stream that was pretty cool too. And I like the initiative where he had said that, hey, there was no Hex and Pulse streams going on. And he's like, well, screw it. We're just going to, flip open the computer and or the laptop and get a stream going. You're both great guys. Yeah, I'll be doing a video with him soon, and that'll be on his channel. And then, we'll do vice versa once we get the time to do that as well. So yeah, go check out his Pulse Promise thing. And for someone like himself that works in charities for like over 20 years, something like that, I think it's really cool that it kind of goes along with Richard's main reasons for doing this. His main reasons for getting people, incredibly wealthy beyond, their desires and their imagination is so you can start fixing the world and start working on the more important things, like the death that's coming to, that's coming for everyone every single day. Let's see. What is your cost prediction? And do you think there will be a sell-off after let's see where it will fall under launch price. This is something I've been contemplating a lot because, and I made a video about it recently, but even though, some might not think that it's a good idea to sacrifice and some think it is, whatever, that's not the point. The point is that some people still are, and that there is decent amounts too that are kind of accumulating and kind of showing that, hey, even at this, kind of a price per point type of deal, that there is some sort of consensus that people are still wanting to do it now versus wait later. And I mentioned as well too, that a lot of the people like myself, like I'm not going to be selling after 100x or 10x, things like that, because I just don't need to, and nor do I want to. But as far as the people that will, I mean, I think it might be a lot less than people are thinking. And it seems that the demand for something like Pulse is just way bigger than Hex. I mean, you look at Pulse Chain Telegram, and maybe I can pull it up in another screen here, but they've got about like 50,000 members in the Pulse Chain Telegram. And then in the Hex Telegram, you've got way less than that. So 50,709 in Pulse Chain. And in Hex, you have 36,620. So Pulse Chain has, almost 51,000 and like under 6 months. And something like Hex is almost 3 years old, that Telegram, and it's not even coming close. So I think that how long it took for Hex to get to a penny, I think Pulse Chain could take less time and maybe significantly less time. Because also, you have people that took the opposite side of Richard, and instead of just listening and seeing what product he was creating, they were too busy defaming him. And a lot of those people missed out on the 10,000x or even more if you staked. And so I think some of those people, they're not wanting to make the same mistake twice. So as far as a sell-off, I mean, I don't know. I've heard Motley and some of the other guys, think that there's going to. And once again, I really just don't know. The more that I think that I know about something, the more I realize, well, the market's proving my previous theories wrong. And so what's more important, what the theories are or what the logic is, or what the actual participant behavior is as far as the majority. Let's see, we got some people in here. I think it'll be very, very high. I mean, where do you guys think Hex will be in 5 to 7 years? I mean, here's the thing that I think. So just like with the penny, $1 is going to be absolutely insane for psychological barriers. I mean, in 5 to 7 years, I mean, as ridiculous as it sounds, like, yeah, I could see us being way, way over $1,000 per Hex, but honestly, a lot more than that. But that's kind of just a conservative from where we're projected to go and how the supply itself keeps, keeps the actual demand up high. We don't know yet. Let's see, if you sacked in the first 5 days, you are already a multimillionaire, possible billionaire. Yeah, it's true. Well, and then I think about how much money I put in total for Hex and how many people in Hex have become multimillionaires from that. And then I think about the amount that people have sacrificed for Pulse and how it's significantly more than it was for Hex. And it's like, man, that's pretty cool. I'm excited for liquid loans for Pulse. Yeah, I know Jess messaged me, and we might be doing a stream sometime soon. I kind of want to see how everything works first before talking about it too much per se. But I like at least the idea of just as Richard has said, hey, to Elon, instead of selling 10% of your stocks, you can just collateralize and pretty much take a loan against it. Let's see. I want to start farming for Pulse Swap. I guess death and taxes are getting lesser and less certain. Good that the demand is so high that people still sacrifice. Well, and I think it's showing you that there's almost like a fear of missing out, and not necessarily in a bad way, but in a way that like they don't know for a fact that they'll be able to maybe get it immediately during launch. Who knows? I mean, if I hadn't sacked yet and I was excited for Pulse, I would be sacrificing. I mean, not my whole bag, but at least a little bit. That way, I'm going to have some at the beginning for swapping. Dips for opportunities, totally. How to buy Pulse Chain and where? You can buy Pulse Chain currently. It's not launched yet. The only thing that you can do is sacrifice for free speech, which qualifies for Pulse points. But it's pulse.info. I had a feeling that Pulse was going to be massive. I sacked most of my Hex for Pulse. Totally, me too. Yeah, that's another thing with Hex too. We talk about the not finite, but very, very limited supply and how much of that Hexicans have sacrificed. I want to say it's like with the OA, it's like might be like 17% of the actual Hex total. So goes to show you how much is still being removed from the actual future supply. Submil FUD. Yeah, I know, Machiavelli. That's what I was thinking. I only sacked 10K. Feel like a fucking shrimp. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know, 10K dollars or 10K Hex. Either way, I mean, if you're comparing to someone, there's always someone that'll be more wealthy or less wealthy. But I tell you what, yeah, even if you sacked like $100, we did the same thing that Hex does, the 10,000 X in under 2 years. Obviously that's all relative, but from $100 to $1 million with the 10,000 X, I mean, imagine what $10,000 would do if that is the 10K you're mentioning. Nice shirt, bro. Liquid loans will be great. Yeah, I mean, and I hear, and once again, I don't like to speak about things before I really know, but the smart contract itself is running on a different chain in multiple different chains. And it's just like with Hex, you don't have to like the idea, you don't have to like it. It's the actual code itself that is what matters. You honestly predict $1,000 per Hex? I can't comprehend that. Yeah, no, I think you don't want to hear my real number of what I think it's going to be. It's going to be, I mean, I think it's going to be a lot higher. Human Hex Trafficker, what's up? T-Share FOMO. Let's see, it's possible. Look at the other $1,000 chunk. Thank you for the previous answer. And I know nobody knows what launch price will be, but do you think at sack price or significantly higher, like 0.005? I don't know. That's a good question. I'm curious what other people's answers are. Thank you for your content. I still say if Ethereum is $4,600 each and you only get one each for it, then even at $1 each may end up being a killer deal. $1,000 Hex and 10K in Pulse. I struggle to imagine being that wealthy. Yeah, Red Squirrel, it's so true. And like, once again, I mean, Hex hasn't even been around for 2 years. And just look at how many people have not overnight, but have almost overnight, slow and steady become, wealthy beyond their wildest dreams. And it is, as Wales Only talks about, it is the time in the market that you spend. And it's just as I say for the people that ask about the longer stakes. If you have the longer stakes and the power of the time in the market for the stakes, say like a 15-year stake, I mean, hell, even if you had like, just as an example, and people might think that this is stupid, but it's not. Even if you had, say, like $10 staked for 15 years, well, every single day for those 15 years, you're getting, interest based on, or you're getting yield based on your shares. And once that actual stake itself ends, now you've got the price appreciation times the yield. Even just like a $10 principal with that amount of time that was served, I mean, could be numbers that, once again, you couldn't even comprehend. 17, which is like most liquid. Yeah, Island Boy. Yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah, there was a meme that Hexo was talking about where it's like Richard develops the most incredible crypto and then convinces you to give it back via sacrifice. I thought that was pretty good. Let's go. Let's get over 50 cents, then $1. We will see next targets. Yeah, I agree. Has this been an awesome 2 years of your life? Yeah, it totally has. I mean, I've been following Richard for over 4, since March of 2017. And that's like over almost roughly 4.5 years now. Every single day has been a learning journey. And keep in mind, there is also a SciVive book. see, SciVive. I actually talked to the person that made this, and they've got like a text to speech program that they like a service that they pay for. But so this is the SciVive book. You can go to t.me/SciVive as well, SCIVIVE, which is free. It's all published from Richard. You just can't sell it. That's why this guy for free is using like an encoding service that, you know, converts it to audio. So for someone like myself that likes to multitask or doesn't like to read a whole bunch, you can listen to, you know, about like 10 hours worth, something like that, worth of conversion. So Hexponential, yeah, it's been quite a journey. You know, every day there's something new. Sometimes there's drama. Sometimes there's you know, new people coming in the space that are just very, very passionate, very excited. Sometimes, you know, celebrities and stuff like that. We saw the Ty Lopez, the Here in My Garage guy, talking about Hex, and so thought that was pretty cool. Let's not bring this up. Let's not be having PulsePad in my chat, please. I don't want to talk about it is the answer. Dollars, and I ended up sacrificing ETH, not Hex. Shaking my head, big oops. Well, here's the thing. So the way that the sacrifice was based was pretty much either at the time that you sacrifice, like that timestamp, or like a 30-minute time-weighted average price. So, you know, the only difference would be is if in those 30 minutes that Hex pumped up more than Ethereum did. But it's all kind of just relative, I guess. Yeah, I don't want to do that now. This stream isn't for that. Pretty much the only thing that I'll say, and once again, I'm still working on future streams and what I want to do and endorse and stuff like this. But it's collateralizing your pulse for, you know, instead of actually selling your pulse, it's collateralizing it and taking a loan against it. So you see how popular the dollar cost the Celsius was, and that's like a centralized platform, which obviously is not very cool since of the centralization. But this does like something similar in a smart contract type of platform, similar to Hex, that's decentralized, that's trustless, you know, things like that. Yeah, you can do a little bit of research and find out their white paper. I think it's liquidloans.io. But once again, just another option for people to consider, right? It's not like you have to use it. But I might be supplying liquidity there. Like, even if I don't want to use it, I mean, I'll be doing the pulse swap liquidity thing. I'll be delegating my pulse to validators for the DPoS, and then probably to the Kinetics node, Discourse Syndicate. And then, yeah, I'll probably be supplying liquidity on the USDL, something like that. I don't see why I wouldn't be doing that. First test of how to get 1,000x in crypto is not sell the 500x. I love that. Most fail. That's the first test. Matt definitely knows what's up. Extraordinary. Hexicans passed the test with flying colors. Yeah. Once again, it's just like, and I was watching one of the Peter McCormick streams again, and it was like day 5 or something like that. It had already done like an 8x because Richard had at the very bottom of the OBS like Hex did 8x in 15 days, or he would have that, and then the numbers just got too ridiculous. But you're right. When that happens, a lot of people think it's like, oh, just like any other crypto, like, oh, you got your 10x, you sell all of it. And that's one thing you should never do, is do all of one thing. But yeah, a lot of those people sold super early and didn't realize that they were holding diamonds. Johnny with CCFX Studios, he had talked about the diamond analogy that, and it's just like with Pulse Chain too, and how I had to change my worldview. But just because a lot of people got a lot of it for a very cheap price doesn't mean, and I need to change my StreamYard so I can, so it doesn't mean that what you're holding isn't diamonds, right? But you might just be selling and exchanging the diamonds for 5x, 10x, whatever, for a price, but it, you know, doesn't mean that they're still not diamonds. So in the future, that might just go up another 1,000x, and then you might be how some of the people were with Hex, where, oh, I had millions of Hex and then I sold it early, stuff like that. Give me just a second. Let me go back to the minimal part right here. So Jessica Pontius, November, December, January, February. What month are you guessing for launch? Personally, I'm guessing December. I know that let's see. I know that Richard had done the like November, or not November, but 11/18 was his birth time and stuff like this. And, that's cool. Who knows? It could be as soon as November this month. But where my cards are kind of at is I think that the December 2nd, 2-year anniversary of Hex's birthday, I think that's a very big deal. And so just speculating, like if anything, December 2nd might be like, hey, everyone can use the network. It's up and running. But if they were to launch it like that, then they would probably already have it running for like a week or two. Because Richard had mentioned the chain needs to be running for a certain time with no value being traded and discovered until you actually open up the trading itself. So I don't really know, but the soonest that I would think for people to actually be able to exchange and kind of use the network would be December. Just my guess. Dome Life says, there's going to be so much demand for Pulse. Starts at 0, nowhere to go but up. Central bank digital currencies. What are your thoughts on central bank digital currencies and what that means for our gains? Yeah, I've heard of this, right? Like the Venezuelan Bolivar, Bolivare, whatever, being kind of digitized, and China going to a digital currency, stuff like this. I think fiat's always going to be fiat, and it's always going to be, the government or central banks there that are using it. But as far as actual assets, I think things like CBDC, central bank digital currencies, would kind of just more validate the use for crypto. And people are already using internet, money on the internet a lot. But the next step is kind of just the crypto if they're already using a central bank digital currency. Oh yeah, Brazology, what's up, man? Yeah, dude. If I go to California before I go to Vegas, I want to see a lot of you Californians. Brazology says, my biggest regret was not spending more. Oh yeah, it was not spending more time with Brandon in Vegas. Yeah, dude, I know. It was like the very last day that we hung out. We'll hang out again soon, bro. Like I said, I might actually be I might make a drive over to Cali before Vegas. Hey, Brazology, how low do you think Hex will go now? I kind of agree with Hexologist's sentiment that we may or may not have seen, and the logarithmic is on, we may or may not have seen the absolute capitulation when we even just look at like what 10 cents would be, or kind of, whoops, 1 second here. I'm trying to copy over the price itself to the share screen. Okay, anyways, it's not working right this second. When we look at kind of where the actual price could go, I mean, right now we broke under 20 cents and we're at like 18.4 cents. It seems that there's kind of like this battle back and forth, and who knows, we may have seen the absolute bottom already. There it is. So version 2, that's just the weekly. But then when you look out all the way on the monthly, who knows where this is going to stop, right? So it might just start reversing up here, or as I said, it might go down to like some sort of capitulation wick and then go up. I don't know. I'm not really a chart guy. That's why you go to look into hex.com, and then we can kind of see what Gerardo's got. That's more like data and analytical. So when we look at like the regression rainbow, scroll down here, you can kind of see, let's zoom in here. So yeah, you can kind of see the different levels, right? I think the different logarithmic levels and the Fibonacci sequence, I guess. But it seems that, and sorry, this price thing is kind of in the way, but it seems that we've touched this red line, a handful of times, right? That red line, and that kind of seems to be the absolute bottom. It doesn't seem that we go very, we don't go below that. The only time that we did it looks like was the absolute bottom, which was January 5th, which was the, once again, day 33, the very low. So once again, doesn't look like we go below it much. And if we do go all the way down here, I don't know what price that is. I mean, it's looking like 15 cents from what I see here, but it looks like it would make a bounce back just from what history seems to be doing on a trend. So not too sure. Once again, the price can kind of go anywhere. Just takes kind of like a cascade of buyers or sellers, and when people are comfortable with taking profits. Let's see what's up from the West Coast, y'all. Kyler, how's it going, man? Yeah, dude, would love to do a video or stream with you sometime. We got some famous movie actor Hexakin, so Kyler's a pretty cool guy. I have been listening to the Sci-Vibe. I really have been enjoying it totally, and it's actionable information that you can act on today. Now I can't. Okay, yeah. Wally says you got me baffled with that $1,000 for one hex in a few years. Well, that was like a 5 to 7 year question, is what they had asked. But I mean, yeah, you think about with Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin used to be sub penny, and what are we at today? Like 62,000, something like that. So being in the highest appreciating asset class in history is great, but then with something like Hex, with the actual pumpamentals and the economics built into it, Richard knows how to build in scarcity, and he knows how to make something that's going to have a good demand. 1118 or 1202. That's a good question. I mean, I think December 2nd is going to be a big day. That's all I'm going to say. I don't know what's going on there, but I know Richard had mentioned that, hey, we've got the highest of stakes documentary people that are going to be there. That's actually in one of my share screens real quick here. They're asking, like, if people have a big question for Richard, ask it in this tweet right here, which people should be looking at. So this is their Twitter channel. And actually, I'm supposed to be doing a stream with them sometime soon. So I'd love to have Grant on, I believe, and kind of talk about it. But it's saying below is a screen grab from our last interview with Richard Hart when in Copenhagen. That's pretty cool. We'll be doing another with him in London. So great photo of Richard. I love it. He's looking great. And you can just tell, man, like, this guy, he wants the best for everyone. So are you afraid of regulations? Do you really think that people on top will let us be wealthy from a product you built? Well, here's the worst thing is someone tries to assassinate Richard and the product goes on. That's the worst thing that could happen. There's no actual way to stop Hex. And just like with that immutability of the smart contract, I don't see the worst fears kind of playing out. I see the old system currently adapting right now and getting into the new system as the old system kind of collapses. So go check that out. There's actually a couple cool photos here that I thought was really awesome. So this one right here is Richard in this throne, and once again, that's for the documentary itself. And they also got some other stuff too here. Some amount of people that can. This is actually really cool. You can donate to their fundraising. And in return, like the top 10 people, I believe, here will get the chance to be in like a preview room or some sort of like cocktail room with Richard like an hour before the actual showing. But they interviewed with Kareem, and looks like he's talking about his mom here, the scarf, some of his other stuff, and kind of why he once again has the relentless drive. So that's the highest of stakes. Go check that out. Yeah, 1118 or 12.2. Not too sure. Fenced ecosystems work only to show how good the other side of the fence is. CBDC. Yeah, that's true. Let's see. Fire Knife Hexakin. And shout out to the 266 people watching. What do you think is the best options for someone who has staked in the MetaMask for years and not the cold wallet? So, I mean, I know you can talk to Papa B about this, but pretty much from what I know, your options are that you can, even though you have that 12-word seed phrase, you can still port that into a Trezor. So you can set up and do like the recovery process on a Trezor, except the wallet that you're recovering is just a 12-word seed phrase from the MetaMask. And then once you had confirmed that it was all legitimate, watch his videos. There's some clips, I believe. I think I even did one of Papa B. But once you've done that, then you can delete the instance of MetaMask and then permanently have that initial instance on the Trezor itself. So that way, even though it's not as set up even though it's not as secure as being set up on the Trezor initially, at least it's still off the hot wallet, and at least it's like, kept within that closed system. The only thing that will keep Hex from hitting $1,000 soon is OGs selling huge bags, but once they distribute, there really is no price ceiling for Hex. Totally agree. Never EES. Yeah, I'm never going to be emergency end staking. The only time that I actually did emergency end stake was before the big payday, and that was thanks to RG3. Him and I were getting lunch, and the first Hexican I ever met in person. But I had stakes that were over 50%, and before the big payday, you're not going to be penalized as much. So I ended some of my stakes, and then got the principal back, and then restaked it for significantly longer. But even still, I've been staking even my future stakes and the stakes coming out for a lot longer, just pushing out the average. So let's see. Well, I mean, I don't think it's a scam. It's just like what Richard said in SciVive about like false allegations or constantly using words that aren't the actual truth. So how do we know if coins like Pulse Doge are scams? I mean, a scam, once again, is like false intentions and things like that. I guess the question more so would be if it's legitimate, if it has utility. I mean, that's kind of just market behavior. I mean, I haven't really looked into that one too much, but Johnny says there are primitive tribes with rivers of diamonds. Yes, I love this analogy. That are as common to them as pebbles. Just because they have many doesn't mean they aren't actually valuable. It's just common to them. So they've got like a skewed perception because of their bias that it's not worth much because they've got so much. That's exactly right, bro. Thank you for mentioning that, Johnny, because once again, even one hex can break down into a Satoshi, which is 1/100 millionth. And it's 1 heart per hex, 100 million hearts per hex, and those are equivalent to like a Satoshi. So the actual way that it does break down for the unit bias, as Johnny's kind of alluding to, pretty much means that like we'll never be using decimals, and it just means that it's easier for people to do math. Miguel, are you going to London? Honestly, probably not. I mean, I don't have a lot of the travel requirements that are being required, and I don't know if I'll be able to make it. I mean, I'm kind of looking into some things, but traveling right now, especially when you don't have some of the things that everyone's wanting you to have, can be tough. Okay, let's see. Have a good video you can forward me to. Yeah, I'll let you look on my channel because any more messaging people is just way too much time. So you'll just look on my channel. I think I've got it from Papa B. The dog coins are universally shit. Let's see, but they use the system and pay fees. We don't have to lose money because others do. Yeah, Finbear. I mean, hey, to each his own for sure. And that's the thing too, is I'm not investing in a lot of these projects, and like I mentioned with Pulse, I don't plan on ever selling Pulse. So just because a lot of these other projects and meme coins exist and stuff doesn't mean you have to participate in it. But it also doesn't mean the opposite, that you have to down talk it as well. The usage of the network might be just enough for that to be very beneficial. Trezor is pretty good. I use the Trezor too. What's the general feeling around staking Hex and eHex versus being a liquidity provider? Are there concerns with liquidity providing ending up with more eHex than Hex? Well, that's a question you have to ask yourself, right? And part of that question comes from do you think that both will kind of hit a parity or a close enough range where it's going to be valuable, whether you get more of eHex or Hex, which is Hex on Pulse Chain. So in general, they would call that impermanent loss and normal liquidity providing. If you have, say, Hex to USDC, now all of a sudden the Hex is being bought up and you're being, returned the USDC for liquidity. But it's also different if it's just Hex versus eHex and you're okay with getting the other one. I mean, for me, once again, I'm comfortable with both liquid positions and both staked positions, where I'm okay if I get more eHex for liquidity providing, because I'm also going to have the third token as well. And someone mentioned that you're not technically getting for free, you're earning it. But I mean, come on, same difference. DJ Cryptomatic. Oh, what's up, bro? I guess that was the second stream. Shout out to you, man. He says, raiding over with my crew. What's up, big homie? How you doing, bro? Nice to see you, man. And I'm pretty behind on comments, so we'll try and get to them as quickly as possible. Marion, if we go below, I will sell everything I need to have more Hex. Exactly. I have Bran on 2 devices now with the Twitch raid. Nice. That's some dedication. Let's see. Chain Trends Crypto says, considering adding Hex because it's totally non-correlated to the rest of the market, and now it's back at a reasonable price, so maybe. Yeah. And if you have the abilities on, say, Matcher.xyz for the limit orders, I used to say that I would set limit orders and set it for the maximum time, which I would. But it does make sense that you don't actually get charged a fee when those limit orders expire. So if you wanted to get like the price of Hex right now, but you didn't want to pay the fees and slippage, then you could actually just set that limit order to the shortest time frame, which I think is an hour. And that way, if it does expire and you don't get filled, that way you can still make another limit order for maybe a little bit higher of a price, or whatever price that you'll get filled at, versus it just staying there for 7 more days and then expiring. So something to consider. Yeah, hey, Craig says a very good recommendation. There are browser extensions that can read text aloud if you don't want to read SciVive, or let other books you can listen. Yeah, and so that's what that person was using. They were using a text to audio translation. They had mentioned that some of the words you kind of have to program in and make sure that all of it sounds good. But that's what I've been doing. Hey, hello, Hexicans. Hi, Bran. How's it going, Russ? Disney isn't getting my money. Yeah, I know what you mean. I've never been there. How is everyone having a great Sunday? Doing great. New to Hex, unfortunately, bought in at 30 cents 2 weeks back. I wish I waited. Yeah, I mean, if you count every single loss in your life, the options will be never ending, versus, hey, I got in, at least not at the all-time high, right? There's always a different frame that you can kind of position it. I mean, you got in at actually a very, very good opportunity and a very good time. It's just the hindsight that you kind of have of, nothing will ever be perfect, and it's always so much easier in the future. Because if we had gone up from your price, now you'd say that you're a genius. But since it went down from your buy, you're like, oh, that might not have been the best idea. But it's just, once again, something that it's like a 401k you don't look at every single day. You kind of just average in with your paycheck, and then X amount of decades later or years, when you realize that it's there. So that's how a lot of us treat Hex. Who is pro crypto in Congress? I don't really follow politics much, so someone else will have to answer. That part I don't know. There was someone else would kind of have to answer that. There was a Twitter channel that I was following, but I'm totally blanking on that person's name now. Do you ever buy meme coins? I personally don't. I just own some Ethereum for gas, Hex, and that's it. And Future Pulse. but I don't really have any other coins. I learned in 2017 that I had like 30 different altcoins and learned that, hey, I'm just going to stick with what's working. But doesn't mean in the future I won't try some different products that are being used and developed. It's just something that I'd rather be safe and more conservative with. I mean, once you already have wealth, now it's like keeping it, right? So not making those same risky decisions as you do when you're trying to build it. So once you have it, it's just like keeping it and letting it grow slowly. So I'm kind of more conservative in that regard. A friend wants to buy Hex for $10,000. Buying Bitcoin and turning into Hex via Changely is the best route currently. I've heard that. I don't know what the actual best route is. I'm not too sure, to be honest. But sounds like a decent idea, right? Anthony says, Northern California, Yuba City is the best city to visit Bran. Awesome. Yeah, most likely I'd be driving. So from Seattle to Washington, or from Seattle to Cali, I'll let everyone know because I want to see Crypto Kool-Aid and some other Hexicans too. So I'll let everyone know when that happens. May not be a scam, but probably a pump and dump. Ask yourself, why would people continue to hold it after it pumps? Hex pays you to keep holding. Yeah, these are the questions to be asking yourself. And honestly, just like with Hex, a lot of people, they're buying something. I mean, people should watch out for this, where you're buying something just because it's going to be copied over to Pulse Chain. But then, just like with a lot of other forks, that's why Richard's not going to say the announcement of when the actual snapshot is for the block height. But that's why it usually does pump up, like for big payday, pumped up for big payday, and then it dumped down because now people know that they got their free coins or their extra. So be wary of things that are, I'm not saying with Pulse Doge, but I'm saying with other stuff specifically that I've heard of, and maybe that one too, who knows. But where it's like, oh, hey, you're going to get a copy on Pulse Chain, and you see it starting to pump up similar to how Sacrifice has been. Just be wary because, yeah, sometimes memes will still be around even though they don't have utility, but doesn't mean that they'll always be around. So definitely ask yourself before putting your money into such a thing. Don't go changing your handsome jeans, my man. No flight is well, exactly. Yeah, I'm not willing to make some of those changes. That's why I'll be driving to Vegas. Yeah, dude. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, like I said, I'd heard that there were some workarounds and stuff, but honestly, with this time in the year and whatnot, it's probably not even worth spending, the time and hassle just to get there. Maybe next year I'll fly a jet there. What up, Bucko? Hope all is well. Just watched the last video. I hope you keep that chin up. Fuck the haters. Oh yeah, dude. No, chin is always high. It's yeah. No haters will ever get to me. Any estimated date of snapshot? No. And once again, I used to think that there was going to be, because Richard had mentioned, hey, I want people to at least know a time frame, a general consensus. And then the more he thought about it and the more that I think about it, he doesn't want a big payday dump. And we've already seen a lot of consolidation recently, even from its most recent high. So my guess is that, yeah, it's going to happen quietly in the night type of deal. And who knows, like his next major announcement might just be the actual chain itself is live and everyone that was here since X amount of time, qualified for it. So I already answered that. December is also my guest. First was hoping for it, but now I'm quite confident. Well, once again, I mean, I know David had talked about just certain developments, a bridge and all this other stuff. But then after listening to the Bretep clip and some of the information that he's talking about and seeing in their specific private developer telegrams, yeah, it seems that everyone else wants it to launch sooner than later. And it seems that they're, especially with the block scout, that they're churning and burning those blocks pretty consistently. What is good accounting? I have my first stake ending soon. Let's see. I'm worried about paying a fee other than what my stake is worth. Okay, so good accounting, it does the same thing that ending your stake does. So it, it stops your stake, right? You're not earning any more hex because the stake is over, right? It just doesn't penalize you. It doesn't actually mint your hex. So it stops the stake. You're not earning any penalties. The hex is like sitting in limbo, and it's just not actually minted yet. So the good accounting, I mean, hence the accounting part. In some jurisdictions and states and countries and whatnot, there might be certain taxable advantages to end your stake at the beginning of a year or whenever the next fiscal year, things like that. So you're still paying a fee. It's not minting your hex, and that's all it does. You would still need to because I had one stake that was good accounted, but once you have something that's good accounting, there's like a green box, and then I believe you would end the stake from there whenever you want the coins to actually be considered, and realized. But once again, that would be 2 fees instead of 1 fee, which would just be ending your stake. So kind of have to look into that a little bit more. Liquid loans means you never have to sell your coins. Yeah, I don't really know a whole bunch about the lending thing, but with what DC has talked about with Celsius and some of these other things, it seems that once again, it's another option that people should be looking into, doing your own due diligence and research. Well, once again, it's not a project or anything. It's just a smart contract. So we'll be looking into that a little bit more. Lewis Hex. Hello there, buddy. Vegas misses you. I miss you guys, man. You guys got a lot less restrictions than Seattle and Washington State. I might just move the states one of these days. Oi, did I miss all the juicy stuff? All right, let's skip all the way down here. Appreciate your response. Where do you see the long-term parity between EHEX and PHEX? Where do I see the parity? I see that it's very possible, right? I don't know how long that'll actually take or what price that'll reach parity at. I can see the future. Richard Hart says the bottom is 16 cents and November 18, 2021 is the Pulse Chain launch. Hey, my fingers are crossed just like your guys' are. I'm ready for whenever it launches. Do you use the Ian knot? That's a good question. Got a little clip of that. I don't. I actually never even tried it yet, but it's there for people that want to learn the quickest knot in the world, and it's also a very efficient knot. Some of the information that you learn about more pulses, you learn about Ian knots. What don't you learn about? I did it, damn it. I'm a true pulse hexagon. I bought Hex and staked. Also, I sacrificed a small amount to have a Genesis wallet and get gas fees for swapping PHEX for Pulse Chain. Awesome, man. Welcome to the club. Sac Padoose 1804. Nice. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to be in the top performing asset that the world has ever seen. You got the highest appreciating asset of 2020 and 2021. Who knows about with the current dip, but you just see the price appreciation in under 2 years. And it's like, man, now you have the opportunity to be getting it at the ground floor of his second thing that he's working on. I think a lot of people are very happy to be a part of that. Marion says, in fairness to the Pulse Doge people, they don't want to capture the Hex holders. They only want to capture the BSC users, which are often victims of scams. I read it on their channel. Yeah, I heard about that too. Once again, I think the guys are doing a good job of getting people's attention and making a whole bunch of memes and stuff. What's your favorite pearl of wisdom from Sci-Vive? That's a good question because I haven't covered all of the. I haven't read all of the Sci-Vive. I've just read a little bit about it and looked into the audiobooks that I mentioned, like the 10 hours of audiobooks. But the thing that I will say is I like that it's actionable. Most self-help books, they are riddled with just a whole bunch of words and, filler words and not much action, not many things that you can do today. But with Sci-Vive, yeah, it's kind of like a huge guide in general. They've got like the spirit, the power, respect, wealth. So I don't have anything specifically from that, but the thing that I do have from that I'm starting to think more about similar to the crypto heartbeat, where it's like, okay, how can we start impacting, other people's lives with the money and the wealth that we are seeing as well? Because, it's not just going to happen randomly. You got to be the one that's helping put the work into it. That sure is gagster. Hope you mean gangster, not gagster. I've been randomly harassed by tweakers too many times when I've had contracting jobs in Yuba. Yep, that stuff exists everywhere. Okay, cool. Okay, so speaking of which, Richard was born same day as the dude who played Superman in Superman Returns, Brandon Ruth. Trippy. That's awesome. On Kinetic's Discourse Syndicate stream, there was a discussion about minted hex being considered yield. Yes, I clipped that. It's very important. Rather than income, which is obviously has tax implications in our favor. Any thoughts on this, Barry? Yeah, so Barry, it's important that, especially now that they're getting into like the political sides of things with trust and whatnot, and the more regulated side of things. The term interest is not how hex is accrued, right? It's accrued, the value is accrued just like with Bitcoin, where it is inflation. So ours is 3.69 annually, and then we happen to get more yield from people that end their stakes early via penalties. But yeah, I think it's very important that we use the term not only shares instead of T-shares, but also yield or inflation instead of interest, because those are specific buzzwords, just like with the Howey test and just like with not being a security, and how Richard has very blatantly and specifically made his case clear of why he's using the language he does. I think interest is something we should be throwing out the window. You can say annual percentage yield because APY, the Y is the yield. But when you start talking about interest, it's just conflating something for what it's not. You're in crypto, nothing is conservative. Whatever you want, man. Whatever you want. Don't forget Richard's most important tweet. What's 10-cent hex when we're on our way to $100 hex? Yeah, Marco, you couldn't have brought up a better point at a more relevant time. It's definitely something that people should consider. Johnny says, if you are staked, you are earning. If you bought mining equipment, you would start at a net loss plus the overhead of power bills before you even begin to profit. Well, Johnny, you're exactly right. That's the beautiful thing about Hex. Yeah, it is like those Bitcoin miners, except no overhead. It's almost like owning a business or having an employee working for you, except they never call in sick. They can work 24/7. What's up, Max? Yeah, this is the guy that I just did a video with today on his channel. He'll be editing that and he'll be posting it on his channel, and we'll be doing an announcement once it does get posted. But that's a great guy. He goes by Hex Ray Vision on Twitter, and once again, we'll be having him on my channel sometime soon as well. Hi, Bran. I have my first stake ending soon. Can you give me a quick overview of what good accounting is? Yeah, once again, it doesn't mint your coins. So it stops your stake where you're not getting penalized, but it just doesn't mint your coins. So it does everything that ending your stake does without minting the coins. So once again, you'd have to look into the implications of what that can mean in your jurisdiction for tax and etc. No stress, we're going right back up to where we came from, and it will be fast. Hex is doing its thing, collecting on the daily staker class. Well, and once again, I talked about with Max Bonnet. Anyways, that the actual price of sacrifice, I think it was around like 8-cent hex, something like that, when Richard had done the announcement. And now we're still at like 18 cents. So we're still significantly up from when the sacrifice itself was mentioned. And it's, we're seeing this really decent consolidation. And once again, how many times has the price consolidated? And those been absolute prime opportunities to be buying or accumulating more if you can, because It's the people that didn't buy penny hex that once it goes to $1 wishes they did. But then once the penny hex happened, obviously they're not comfortable, and now it's different because they're actually in the situation versus the hypothetical. Chris, let's see. I reckon Richard said his birthday because so many people are into astrology now, and they want to know the exact time and location. December 2nd is more likely, in my opinion. Yeah, I know that was his birthday was the 9th, I believe. You can go to like Wikipedia, Richard Hart. Yeah, so it is October 9th. You can see this is what I use. So Wikipedia. 1 second here. Let me paste. And this actually has like a lot of cool information on Richard. So he had mentioned as well, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He's 42, but it talks a lot about his just his whole history, right? The MEGSS, the experimental, education that he had done in I think 6th grade, and just a whole bunch of other stuff. So check this out. It's got all the references as well, and that's pretty informative. But so they say that, yeah, that's why they think Richard was posting the time. And yeah, I know with astrology, that's how that works. So that's the conspiracy, right? What's the difference between Hex and Pulse? So Hex is a smart contract, and it's a locked smart contract too, and it's completed, and it's audited, and it's just forever running continuously. And Pulse Chain itself is like a blockchain similar to like Ethereum, where it's a network. So multiple cryptos and multiple tokens and smart contracts and NFTs can be built on top of that network. And the way that gains value is the native token, which is Pulse. That native token is used for the transaction fees. So whether, say for Hex, whether you're starting a stake, ending a stake, whether you're minting NFTs, anything, you're going to need some Pulse Chain as the underlying currency, or the underlying utility token, I guess. If Hex will be at $1,000 in 5 to 7 years, then buying at 30 cents is a dream. Well, it is. It is. And most people, they want to get rich quick, and they would rather not take the time and sacrifice that it takes to accumulate wealth slowly. And sometimes they just don't see the value, right? But that's fine. The people that did and the people that put in their time, they always get rewarded for holding longer. Do you have a DeLorean? I don't, but Matty Allen does. I haven't really bought anything as like a major Hex flex or anything, nor do I need to. But next year, I think I'll probably be buying a new Tesla and having that be my Hex flex, because those things are cool. And they're like the most safe car ever. So I'll take that in case I ever get in a car crash. From what I know, Richard Hart is the pseudonym. Yeah, his name is Richard Schuler. Schueler. It's German. I have his name somewhere. Not that it really matters. Yeah, it's Schuler. You can go to that Wikipedia that I was just showing you. This right here. And if we scroll up, see Richard Hart. Oh, yeah. So Richard Schuler. Once again, that's where it is. So he doxed himself because a whole bunch of Bitcoin maxis were threatening to dox him. And he said, why not hear it from the horse's mouth versus the toxic Bitcoiners? Get the Model Y. Okay, cool. I got like a year. I'll probably do it on my birthday. So I'll look into it for sure. See, I never know if it's $25,000 or 25,000 Hex, That's like the big difference. If you had 25K, would you do a stake ladder or one big stake for 5 years? Let's even see what that amount is in Hex. 1 second here. Because personally, I wouldn't be doing it all in one. Let's just see what 25,000 Hex, though, as a lower of the two numbers, even equals. So 25,000. So, yeah, just as an example, 25,000 Hex, is $4,517. Would I be doing that all for 5 years, or would I, divide it up between, 5 stakes, something like that? Give me just a second, guys. I need to answer my door for a quick delivery. 1 second. Let me play the intro for 2 seconds.
Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like. Be sure to share. Be sure to comment. Say
Okay, sorry about that, guys. I had to get a package at the door. Let's see. Ching ching. If you live in a northern state, I think Tesla is not ideal. Yeah, Pacific Northwest. We'll see. Once again, we'll do some research. With $1,000 per hex, I'll devote the rest of my life on charity. Yeah, I mean, plan for this now. Plan for your multi-millions now, and your 8 figures, your 9 figures, that kind of wealth now, even your 7 figures, because it will happen. And if you don't plan for such a thing now, then when it does happen in the future, you're going to be caught off guard. You're going to be getting the sudden wealth syndrome that Maddie talks about, that I've gone through, that many have gone through. So plan for that now, and then when it happens, you're prepared. Let's see. Hexicans are very generous and love to help others. It's true. Knowing the rich is something worth searching. I'm going to get a daily drive, the Tesla semi-truck. You can get one with the truck bed. Yeah, those are cool. So are the, what do they call it? Like the Cybertruck, like the Halo looking vehicles. I want a new Corvette. Yeah, that'll be cool. I'll definitely be treating myself there. How dare you hype us? Every time Brandon gets a package at the door, the price went up. When Brandon comes back from the stream, the price went up. Stake that, Hex. I love it. I love it. All right. Well, I mean, yeah, we've kind of been going for a little while and just been chit-chatting with the chat for most of it. I think that's about everything. Once again, we'll just give one last overview. Yeah, get a Cybertruck. Those things are badass. Just one last overview of what I was talking about it. So, and yeah, between everyone else and me, I don't think you're ever going to see hacks on my vehicles. I don't want someone to try and rob me. Like, nope. No, thank you. So back to it. The testnet version 2 will be launching soon, within either a week, 2 weeks. It's going to have some major updates and going to be making sure that everything is working good before the mainnet itself launches. There's going to be, there should be like the test pulse, right? As far as the testnet pulse for what you should be getting for what you sacrificed. I think they're kind of working on those numbers and getting some last minute details and finalities for the amount of points that people should be receiving for the pulse and whatnot. Once again, the dev was hoping that it would be out since yesterday. They want it out as quickly as everyone else does. They can barely sleep because they're so excited. November and December are very possible of when Pulse Chain mainnet could launch. What else? Oh yeah, 395 confirmed synchronized nodes. And it took Ethereum 200, or it took Ethereum 2 years to get 200. So that's really cool. Not even on mainnet. Well over 300 or 400 developers outside of the main team. Once again, a lot of people that want the success of Pulse, want the success of that network, and are willing to help and build outside of it. Oracles most likely already exist, and people outside of the team are contributing. We mentioned with the bridge and some other things that they might be using if it does go into the minimum viable product. So testnet 2, possible launch timeframe. Once again, my prediction, fingers crossed everything goes well, that it's before the end of the year. That's what I've said before. And how nice would that be? Maybe Pulse Chain for Christmas, something like that. All I want for Christmas is Pulse Chain. So the Uniswap, the fork of Uniswap worked on the testnet with the front end, and everything seemed to be working there good. And that's it, guys. I think that was pretty much everyone in the chat. Wrenchy, Hex Element. Once again, not a whole bunch as far as those updates that we had gone over. I guess just very lastly, I can point everyone towards the clip that I had downloaded because it's about an hour long and it's worth looking into. And also, we're almost at 5,000 subscribers. We're at 4,400, so that's really exciting. But let's scroll down a little bit here. And let's see, right here. So this one. Once again, 7.3 thousand views. That's awesome. It goes to show you the power of why anybody can download my clips. You can download my videos and repost whatever you want to do. All of it's, free for, what do they call it? Like Creative Commons. So you're free to share it, download it, and it's all public, stuff anyways. But 7.3 thousand views 3 days ago. That was the developer right there, was this guy right here. So Tep. And I also heard someone lastly, I heard someone complaining that he was like multitasking and like with his kid and whatnot. And it's like, the guy wasn't even intending on getting on the voice call, but he was getting asked by Dan a few times and by some of the other people. So be grateful for people that are sharing their time, because they don't have to in the first place. So there's always people that kind of make slight nuances about that. But that's it. Once again, everyone feel free to check out my second YouTube channel. This is a shout out that nearly someone with 1 million followers, this guy here, Barnacles, has 800 something thousand followers. And they shouted me out as I was kind of donating about Hex and Pulse Chain in their chat. So just more exposure for like a grassroots type of marketing, and it's cheaper than say doing the cameos. So anyways, guys, that's it. Feels great that the price dropped here again. Totally, we're learning more. We're grateful for what we have. We're understanding that, hey, this is just a time in history when people are down on their luck, when they're sad about the price. That's when you should realize that, hey, we're probably getting really close to a bottom here. Chris Wadding says Brand's videos on crustless PB&J, also a good one. Yeah, I kept that one up there. Classic 12-year-old brand. Feels great that the price dropped. Learning more. Yep. Don't stress. Exactly. Don't stress. That's never a good emotion to be feeling. And just understand that, hey, if you are maybe feeling a little bit stressed or depressed or whatever, the best thing that you can do is educate yourself on what you're holding, because you are really holding those diamonds. And right now those diamonds are on, 66% discount. But then the next time that you go to sell or realize them, they might just be much bigger and much more expensive than you ever thought that they could be. So just understand that if you go to hex.vision at the very bottom, you can see the future supply. Understand that November and December, the holiday months, right before the new calendar year, a lot of people do end their stakes towards Christmas and want Christmas presents and things like this. So maybe if you don't do the same thing that everyone else does, maybe you can realize some of your interest before those people do, and maybe you'll be able to get a better price versus selling when all of the other people are selling. So that's it. That's all I have. Thanks, Russ. Thanks, everyone. We had over 266 people watching. Once again, kind of a general synopsis of Hex is just doing its thing. Not really much new there. But with Pulse Chain, I think it's going to happen by the end of the year. And I think it's going to be a lot bigger than anyone can think. So without further ado, I'll let everyone go. Do consider my second channel, which is in the description. And then also consider that I think on Crypto Coffee's channel tonight at 7 o'clock, which is 3 hours and 15 minutes from now, I think we'll be doing some sort of Nights of the Crypto, at least from the direct messages that I'm seeing. So keep your eyes open there on Crypto Coffee's channel, and have a good day. All right, peace out.
Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like, be sure to share, be sure to comment. Yeah. Say hey. Say hey. Say hey. Say hey. Say hey. Stake that. motherfucking jackpot. We still jackpot, bitch!
Thank you, Richard, for creating and founding the most amazing and disruptive financial technology cryptocurrency ever. Thank you, sir. And nice stream.